The saga is finally over as the Toronto Raptors named Darko Rajakovic as their next head coach. So in today's video, we discuss why the Raptors really chose him above all the other candidates and if it was a good decision by Masai Ujiri's front office. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to Amateur Hour Sports, the YouTube channel dedicated to Toronto Raptors content and coverage for news just like this. If you want to see more videos just like this and draft profiles as we get towards the 2023 NBA draft, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel, stay updated with all this Raptors content, and hit that notification bell as well so you never miss out on any of the uploads. But the Toronto Raptors have named their 10th head coach in franchise history as it was revealed yesterday that Darko Rajakovic, Memphis assistant, has been made the head coach. This decision, this news, came at a pretty bad time for myself, so apologies for getting this video out a day later, but let's get right into the analysis of this situation. So as far as the candidates that seem to be in the final running, Darko Rajakovic always felt as though he was on the fringe of the other candidates. It certainly felt as though former Raptors assistant Sergio Scariolo and current Warriors assistant Kenny Atkinson were leading the race for this head coaching position, and if anybody else was involved in this search as well, it seemed like Jordi Fernandez, associate head coach of the Sacramento Kings, and Steve Nash were also heavily involved in the process, but Darko Rajakovic's name consistently lingered, so it was a slight surprise when we got the Woj bomb that yes indeed, he was going to be named the next Toronto Raptors head coach, and it certainly caught a lot of people in the Raptors media space a little bit off guard with the entire situation because they also felt as though Scariolo and Atkinson were in the driver's seat to get the award. But the Raptors, they see something they like in Darko Rajakovic, so let's talk about what they're going to like about the person. So, as it came to the finalists, the people that were involved in the final processes of getting hired as the next Raptors head coach, most of the people had a very strong sense in running a modern day offense, a very tactical approach to running the Raptors offense. This led me to believe that the Toronto Raptors management wanted to maximize this core for at least one more year. Find in a very offensively driven coach who is going to maximize what we get out of this core. Now, what would be great about guys like Atkinson and guys like Scariolo, even though their biggest draw is their ability to run an offense, they also had those great developmental tendencies within them that if we did pivot in a different direction, we would also have that within them. So, based on the way the Raptors were looking, it looked like they were prioritizing offense over development, keeping a keen eye on development, but they seem to be prioritizing the offensive approach to the game, which is why I'm surprised they've now gone with a coach who maybe prioritizes development more than he prioritizes the offense. So, Darko Rajakovic is a great offensive mind. He's done such a great job with the Memphis Grizzlies. He's been a part of the Memphis Grizzlies coaching staff since 2020, and he has been amazing in improving that team so much from a developmental standpoint. We've seen how much Ja Morant has grown as a player. Hopefully, he puts the stuff beyond basketball aside. We've seen Jaren Jackson Jr. absolutely blossom as a player into a DPOI, somebody who's also adding in quite an offensive bag. We've seen Desmond Bane blossom into one of the most elite shooters in the NBA. Darko Rajakovic has been immense in the development of these players, and he is known to be more so of a developmentally minded coach. However, we still see the way Memphis are running their offense, and he's been given a lot of credit in the way they run their offense. It's really pleasing offense to see. They prioritize getting to the rim, really putting a lot of pressure at the glass, and also they prioritize three-point shooting, something that definitely tailors towards the modern game. But again, this is somebody who prioritizes development, which is extremely interesting for the Raptors to go with because now it seems to me, I've said for 2 weeks now on this channel and my other channels that it really feels as though the way they're operating their coaching search, the type of people they're looking at, it really feels as though they're looking at coaches who are going to maximize this core for one more year. But all of a sudden, looking at a coach like Rajakovic, it seems to me like maybe they're more focused on going in a different direction. And all of a sudden, the offseason that Raptors fans want, pivoting in a different direction, focusing on youth, focusing on development, maybe we will see some more action than I would have previously predicted. The coach was always going to be the telltale sign of exactly what the Raptors front office wanted to do. And I think if they were set on prioritizing conserving this core for one more year, they would have gone for somebody else like Scariolo or Kenny Atkinson. But because they've gone with Darko in this situation, it feels like they are more inclined to maybe going in a different direction. But part of the draw in hiring Rajakovic here, the big draw in this one, the real reason they hired him in this situation is because, first of all, like I said, I think they may want to go in that developmental direction, take a step back. Maybe a sign and trade for Fred VanVleet is more in play at this point. Maybe a trade with Pascal Siakam is in play. All of this is up in the air. We'll see. That's part of the real reason, but part of the real reason as well is that Rajakovic is a coach who can pivot in either direction. Maybe they do go with another year of this course, see what happens. And then at that point, if they want to pivot and go in a different direction and go towards development, go towards acquiring young talent, young players, he's also a keen sense of developing those guys and being able to run an offense and start building up an offense from scratch at this point, because we really have been left with nothing based on the way Nick Nurse ran the offense. It felt like there was no plan in place for the way the Raptors ran offense under Nick Nurse. So there's multiple ways the Raptors can go direction-wise this offseason, and there's multiple ways in which Darko Rajakovic can coach this team based on the ensemble of players that he is going to be provided. But as far as Rajakovic as a coaching decision, we spoke about why the Raptors wanted him so bad. But is this still a good fit? Is this the right fit for this franchise, given the very talented coaches that were also available? From the situation we had in the last week or so, Jordi Fernandez was my favorite candidate. I was also a real big fan of Sergio Scariolo. I was decently a fan of Kenny Atkinson, would have been fine with that one. But as it comes to Darko Rajakovic, once again, this was a little bit of surprise, but seeing it, thinking about it, it does feel like it's a really great situation for the Raptors to go with, and a really great person that the Raptors have put in this position. A young coach, up and coming, 44 years old. Like I said, did a great job helping run the offense with the Memphis Grizzlies, has other experiences in the NBA. He's worked with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He also spent a year working as an assistant with the Phoenix Suns, and even has head coaching experience almost a decade ago now with the Tulsa 66ers. So there's experience there. There's head coaching experience. There's a wealth of assistant experience in the NBA. He's been an assistant in the NBA since the 2014 season up until today. So we have the offensive mind. We have the developmental mind as well that he can provide to this team. And one of the biggest things the Raptors were looking for in the offseason with their coach as well was a culture change. And all the noise around Darko Rajakovic this offseason, and you see with the Memphis Grizzlies players praising him or shouting him out for being able to land the first head coaching job at the NBA level of his career, people like him. He is a great person to have in the locker room. He has this infectious personality that the players seem to really resonate with. At least that's what we saw with the Memphis Grizzlies, and that's what people have also spoken about with him in the past. So the Raptors were looking for a culture change. The Raptors were looking to focus on development more, and the Raptors are looking definitely at a coach who could turn this half-court offense around. And you know what? When it comes to Darko Rajakovic, even though he was a candidate that seemed to be on the fringe of the search, they have hit the nail on the head with all three of the boxes that they wanted to check off. So as far as Darko Rajakovic as a coach, when I saw that he was the person that they were going with that Woj bomb, it gave me a big sense of excitement. Like I said, it wasn't my first candidate based on the crop of coaches that were available. I mean, Monty Williams was my number one choice for this position. I was also a big fan of Jerry Stackhouse. Those were the people I was seriously interested in for this role. But seeing Darko Rajakovic, it feels as though this is a good decision. It's a good decision, and it could 100% down the line become a great decision or an excellent decision. I think Darko, in his time in the NBA and also the wealth of experience he has in Europe, coaching with Red Star Belgrade in Serbia as well, it seems like with all of his experience here, he was due this opportunity. He was due a head coaching opportunity. And in the rigorous ongoing process for the Raptors finding a head coach, they were precise, they were measured, they were detail-oriented. They left no stone unturned, and they took their time. Took their time to the point of frustration with a lot of Raptors fans who maybe had this sense of relief right now, knowing that the whole thing is over. The saga is over. Now we can really prioritize our focus on the NBA draft. It really feels as though this was a good decision by the Raptors, and it provides me a lot of optimism for the future. So a lot of people watching this video right now, people reach out to me on Discord, people reach out to me on Twitter as well, looking for my opinion on this situation because they don't know enough about Darko Rajakovic. I feel as though this was a good decision, and like I said, this makes me excited about what is to come. As far as the direction of the team, I was fully convinced, like 80% plus convinced, that they were going to run it back with the core. Now I'm really not so sure. Now it feels like a 50-50. It feels like maybe the Raptors still don't exactly know what direction they want to go in this season, but because of the coaching hire, because of the decision they made with Rajakovic here, it seems like whichever direction they go in, Rajakovic is going to be able to handle the situation. If we want to push for the playoffs this season, this is a man that can design the offense to get the most out of this team. If we want to pivot and focus on development, we've seen the great developmental stories in his past. Like I said, John Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., among others, with that Memphis Grizzlies team, who seems to draft so well and find these lower tier prospects and build them up into these great players. That could be directly associated with the coaching of Darko Rajakovic. Excited to see what's going to happen in the future 100%. We're finally done with the saga, but what do you guys make of this coaching hire? Do you agree with the Raptors hiring Darko Rajakovic? Maybe he wasn't your first choice, but you're still excited. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions, and I'll be sure to check it out in the comment section down below, because that is it for me for today. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy and found it at all informative, and if you want to see more Raptors content just like this, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I have 2 great draft profiles coming up this week with Kobe Buffkin as well as Jordan Hawkins, and more draft profiles are on the way as we get towards the June 22nd draft. Hit that notification bell as well so you never miss out on any of that content, and I'll see you again next time for another video.